I groom Kyiah, I use a 7/16 or 11 millimeter comb for her coat. That includes her head and legs. And for her ruff, I use a 5/16.
Okay, Kyiah, we's gonna work on the puppy. You okay with that?
Mm-hmm. Kyiah's usually pretty good for her grooming. She trusts me, and that's a good thing. I also have aside from this nice little workbench my husband has, I have this little leash. It's just one of those free ones you get at PetSmart that I keep on her neck, and it's attached to the wall so that I know for sure she's not going to get away from me while we're grooming. In fact, you know, we're in the garage, so loud noises from the trash truck or some kids could really startle her and get her to jump, and we don't want that. So I make sure that doesn't happen. All right, make sure, double check, I've got the right one, and let's go. We're taking quite a bit off today. She hasn't been groomed in a while. Come down like this. Let's get your ears. You want to make sure we get those good. And sometimes this gets in my way, and I do take it off, but I'm very careful to hang on to her when I do. Okay, let's see how much we took off here. All right. Then my other tools came from Amazon. I got a nice pouch with a lot of tools in them that I can use to do the exact cut that I want. Okay. Boy, we've got some real trimming to do there. All right, we'll get there. We will. We'll get there. Okay, let's keep going. Now, the reason I'm going against the grain here is because I really want her hair to have this length. And oftentimes, if I go with the grain, I just don't get as much hair. And I really want it to be shorter because she's going to be out where it's hot on the water for the rest of the summer. And I want to make sure she doesn't get too hot. You can hear I've got a fan running in the background, and I'm sorry for that noise, but it's hot here in Denver. And I really just needed to keep it cool enough so she and I wouldn't give up before we were done. Kyiah has needed this grooming for quite some time. I have been getting ready for going back up to Washington, and I've just had a ton of things that I've been doing that has prevented me from getting back to this groom. And I didn't worry too much about it because, after all, she's in an air-conditioned house. area on the back of their neck is kind of hard to blend in. So I do move her collar up a bit and kind of go against the grain to get as much of it as I can. And then I go back and scissor it too. I'm getting it all over me. And that's another thing. You save money doing this with your dog, but it's messy. So you want to have a dedicated place, whether it's in your garage or in your basement, out on your patio. This hair goes everywhere. You want to keep it as contained as possible. You're being a good girl. Well done, Kyiah. You're being a good girl. Don't pull back. Don't pull back. That makes mommy make mistakes. Don't pull back. Whoop, I found a tangle. Seems like no matter how aggressively or long I brush her, I never get through all these tangles. You know, I've never paid attention to how much time this takes me. I'd say I've been at it about 10 minutes, and it's 5 till 1. So we'll see how long this takes me. She's not terribly long this time. When I took her from her winter coat down to this, I think it took a couple of hours because I'm not a professional. I don't do this all day long. So it takes me a little longer, from bathing to cutting to brushing, all that. It just takes a little longer. But you're saving a ton of money throughout the year doing it yourself. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to look cute. I'm not completely done yet. I want to kind of start shaping her face so that I'll have a better idea of where I'm headed with this cut. Okay. Let me get you right here, honey. All right, I'm holding her pretty still because I do not want her to bolt. And I know a lot of people leave this as a visor. I don't like to do that. I like to have separation in the bangs. So I always come down and cut that hair. I kind of have just over time come up with what I like on Kyiah. With Kyiah, her hair is longer and we tend to go hiking and stuff, and I just don't want her hair, leg hair, bringing in all kinds of mud. Okay, let me get here and see what needs to be done. No, don't move. That's better, huh? It's way better. Okay, let me do the same thing over here. Are you getting tired of me messing with your face? Okay, we'll be done in just a minute. Kyiah favors, even though she's a ShiChi, she favors the Shih Tzu, and a lot of people let their Shih Tzu ears grow down to about here, which I think is pretty, but again, because of our lifestyle and the fact that I like Kyiah to look more like a puppy than an adult dog, I trim around the leather of her ears. And to do that, you can feel the leather, and you can see it hadn't been too long since I did it, but it's grown out on the top some. So you just go along and you feel the leather. You make sure you've got your thumb where that leather is so that it doesn't get cut. And see, I just go around her ear, nice and neat. Right around that leather. When you get on the inside, a little harder to find it. so you just have to be super duper careful. And I take my 10 blade and I clean up her paws, and I wasn't real confident in doing this for a number of years, because you can cut their paw, and you don't want to do that. They're pads. So I just avoided it. But I've been grooming my dogs at home, between the two little dogs that need grooming that I've had for long enough that about 10 years now, I've gotten used to some things. Now, the one thing I'll never get used to is cutting her nails. She doesn't like it, and I'm fearful, and the combination is an accident waiting to happen, really. So I just make sure I take her to get her nails done by someone else. All right. Are you a pretty girl? Are you all pretty? I think you are.